what I got from your question here that landed on me was functional freeze. And often functional freeze comes along with, well, trauma, but dismissive avoidant attachment. And it sounds like that's your dominant, your husband. It sounds like your husband has a dismissive avoidant attachment and they are in a functional freeze state where they can be, making all these plans, all these lofty ideas. We're going to get our shit together. We're going to plan a vacation. We're going to redo the house. We're going to like all these things. We're going to be more assertive. We're going to be more dominant. We're going to build that dungeon. We're going to start having scenes, whatever. But it never actually happens. It's all hope. I want. I hope. Okay. It's functional freeze. And a functional freeze state is a direct trauma response. It's literally your nervous system being completely deactivated. So like you have all of these like, okay, I want to move forward. I don't like feeling stuck, but I literally cannot get unstuck. And this, like I was just saying, it often correlates with dismissive avoidant attachment. If you want him to start being assertive, taking the lead, all of these things, you actually want him to go through, have an interest in that paperwork. He has to solve the attachment wound. He has to be willing to go, how I'm functioning isn't functional. There's something broken that I need to fix. Until he gets to that point, there is no amount of emotional monitoring that you will be able to do to make that happen. The only thing that you can do is get rid of that fear and stop being silent. Okay? Here's the thing. If you have a dismissive avoidant in a functional freeze state, they will stay frozen. And as long as you just keep doing, they will let you keep doing. They are not going to stop you from doing. They're going to, I don't have to get out of my freeze state because no one is demanding that I get out of my freeze state. Because you've been cleaning up after him. If he's in freeze state and he doesn't do the dishes, you'll do the dishes. If he's in freeze state and he doesn't, whatever, fill in the blank, you'll jump in. You'll do it. And you'll do it so well and so consistently, he won't even need to put it on his radar. This is often what happens in these dynamics where we have a dismissive avoidant and then we have a codependent, and the dismissive avoidant is like just not engaging, and it triggers the codependent into like this fawning state where we just chase more, fawn more, give more, serve more, pour out more. And the dismissive avoidant is like, sweet. I can give them neglect and they still chase me. I can give them no investment and they still will serve. This is great. I don't have to invest, but they'll continue to invest in me. Hell yeah. What is incentivizing any change there? People do not change until their lack of change has cost them enough. And unfortunately, some people will not change until they lose everything. You are the only one who can manage you, and you're the only one that can really place a demand on this. And it's going to be through speaking and through self-advocacy. Okay, so for you, I want you to really think, Beth, before we even talk about how to get your dominant to be more dominant and you to be more submissive, I think the more submissive you are to this dominant, the worse it's going to get. I think the more submissive you are to this dominant, the more apathetic they're going to get. I think the more submissive you are to this dominant, the more hands-off they're going to be. I think the more submissive you are to this dominant, the less work they're going to put in. I think the more submissive you are to this dominant, the less chance you have of getting what you want. But there is a solution. Bratting and refusing to engage, that is toxic. It's passive aggressive. It's gameplay. If you want a healthy dynamic without all this emotional bullshit and gameplay, stop playing games. Stop playing games. What I really want you to do, and it's going to feel scary, and this is probably why we didn't go here, okay? This is actually the healthy thing. This is actually what's going to create some movement. If movement is possible here, and I say it like that, I'm not trying to discourage you, but here's the thing. We cannot control your dominant. If your dominant chooses to stay this way, there's nothing you can do as a submissive to inspire anything else. Because just like you, submissive, have complete 100% free will, so does your dominant. And just like we don't want dominants to manipulate submissives into being submissive, we do not want submissives to manipulate dominants into being dominant. So we cannot manipulate, we cannot push, we cannot press, we cannot demand. We can advocate and we can communicate, okay? Advocate and communicate. Beth, my dear, write that down. We can advocate and communicate. That is what I want you to do. And I'm going to break down what I mean by that and how you can do it, all right? We are going to advocate and we are going to communicate. Fantastic. Look at you, you beautiful note taker. So what I want you to do, my dear, okay? Let's first start with, do you ever feel huffy, puffy, fussy, like I want a brat? Like, you're not paying attention to me. I want a brat. Okay. When you get there, I don't want you to brat. I need you to actually acknowledge that state of being for what it is. You're feeling neglected and you have an unmet need. Okay? You're feeling neglected and you have an unmet need. That is what I want you to advocate for. And I want you to advocate for that unmet need by communicating what you do need. Okay? So that huffy, puffy, fussy, bratty thing, we don't want you living in that state. Okay? Brats, if you live in that state, something is desperately wrong with your dynamic. Desperately wrong with your dynamic. Submissives, if you feel constantly like you are neglected, like you have to brat or escalate or be huffy, puffy, fussy to get any sort of attention or what from there's something really bad going on. Come talk to me. Join this community. Let's have a chat. Patreon.com/LXerotica. Okay. So what I want you to do instead, Beth, is I want you to advocate and communicate. Anytime you feel huffy, puffy, fussy, this bitterness, this whiny, this I need to brat, I need to escalate, it is not a DS thing. It's not a submissive thing. You have legitimate needs that are not being met. Okay? The way to get those needs met is to advocate and communicate in a healthy way, not to be passive aggressive, not to play games, not to emotionally manipulate. So we're going to advocate. We're first going to acknowledge, I feel this way. This is not a submissive feeling, and this is not a feeling that I should be feeling. Okay? So we're going to acknowledge that angst as something bad, not as inspiration to brat. That's number one. Number two, when we feel that angst, when we feel, you're not paying attention to me, what do you need? I'm going to ask you right now, most of the time when that comes up for you, Beth, what do you need, babe? Is it you need a hug? You need some focused attention? Hey, baby, how was your day? Talk to me. You need just, oh, my beautiful baby thing. Look at you. What do you need? When you get those, I'm not getting attention, I'm feeling needy, and I want a brat. Do you see a pattern of like, if I could put it to words, this is what I would really want right now. I'm not going to sit here advising you on strategies that are not going to work and that are going to drive a bigger wedge between you and your dominant. So I can't answer, how do I inspire my dominant to be more dominant? What I can do is tell you how to advocate and communicate, which if he loves you in any capacity whatsoever, he'll step it the fuck up.